But first up, 3 weeks ago, you're in Vegas
hmm
in the octagon against um, a guy from Brazil with
Yeah.
full body tats,
Yeah.
last name Silva.
Yeah.
You're the underdog,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
and you go in and you get the first round KO. How did it feel in that moment? Rat garbage Nallo, how are you?
Yes. I'm doing well, buddy. Thank you. Always living the dream, being referred to as rat garbage in my mid 30s.
We gotta
Like,
we gotta get into that in a
yeah.
bit. The origin story of that.
Yeah.
But first up, 3 weeks ago, you're in Vegas
hmm
in the octagon, fighting in front of Dana White against um, a guy from Brazil with
Yeah.
full body tats,
Yeah.
last name Silva,
Yeah.
who's actually um, you're the underdog,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
and you go in and you get the first round KO. How did it feel in that moment?
It's for me, fighting is less like I feel less joy immediately afterwards, like a lot of people they say that rush is what they do it for. But for me, like I always know there's another fight coming. Like as soon as I win the fight, I'm like, okay, next fight is, in 3 months. I can just, so it's less about the joy. It's more about just the validation a little bit, like, because that is make or break. Every fight is your biggest fight. If I lose the next one, all these people that just decided that I'm the best fighter they've ever seen will be like, actually, he was never that good. So it's relief and it's validation for my team. Like I love going up to my coaches afterwards and being like, thank you, we did it. I am the vessel, but there's a lot of people behind me that kind of
Mhm.
help make it happen.
You know what I think of when you relay that? The Blue Jays need that kind of maturity because they had that like champagne celebration about a
Mm,
week ago because they clinched a playoff berth.
yes.
And they've lost like 6 out of their last 7 games and look like they're absolutely tanking.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, was that champagne celebration worthwhile?
It
Because
seems,
they haven't gotten
yeah, like
really anywhere.
what's the next step from there? I think like,
Yeah.
I don't know I don't watch a lot of sports, but I think it was Kobe Bryant. The Lakers were up like 2 games in a series or something in the finals, or maybe they just won the semifinals and they're going to the championship,
Mhm.
and everybody's celebrating and he's sitting there just kind of dour, and they're like, "What's wrong, Kobe?" He's like, "Work's not done, like job's not done." And that's always kind of how I think. Like, I'm happy, I'm relieved, but there's
Mhm.
always more to do.
So I think that same night you're seated at a table with a couple of other fighters. Dana White is right across from
Yeah.
you. And my understanding is that even up until that moment, you weren't
Yeah.
assured of the contract.
That's the weird thing about Contender Series. Like, usually you win a fight and that's the relief. But I realized afterwards, after I scored the KO and stuff, like there's another thing that has to happen for this to go well, like in our eyes, because everybody there is hoping for a UFC contract. And there are plenty of guys who have won and they get paid for the fight and that's it. They go home and maybe they get a call in, a year from now for another chance at Contender. So it was very odd to be sitting in a row with all the other guys that won. Uh, Now I'm sort of in this reality show where is Dana White going to like, did I earn his favor enough to get a nod onto the next show? Because there was a guy who won fairly impressively and he didn't get a contract.
Hmm.
And so now like his life isn't ruined, but he definitely is not where he wants to be 3 weeks after the event, even though he won.
So rat garbage, I saw somewhere maybe on your Insta,
Yeah.
race against time.
Yeah.
And Dana White, in the moment that he said, okay, you're in. I don't like your age, but you're in.
Yeah.
Um, what's the theme behind race against time? Like, and maybe take us back to how this all started, because I know you have way before
Yeah.
this date, you were in this world already.
Mm-hmm. So the original nickname was just sort of, it came from social media, like MMA athletes, like every athlete, like every professional, let's say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everybody was telling me, Mandel, you have to start a social media account. It's going to boost your profile. You're going to get more fights. You're going to get sponsors. And I've always been, anti-trend, first of all, and anti-social media generally. So I was like, okay, if I'm doing it, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to kind of like, stick my tongue out at all the guys who are posting videos of them hitting pads with their coach,
Going to the washroom afterwards.
yeah, like inspirational quotes, getting a haircut. Like, who needs to see this? Like,
Agree.
oh, I started just by uh, calling my profile that, and I didn't post anything. And then me and my friends went to Japan, and everybody, does talk about how Japan is beautiful and lovely, and it is. But there was a dead rat on the road, which is super rare in Japan. Like that never, everybody talks about how you could eat off the streets. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a
It's a
sign. So I actually laid down next to it, and my friends took a picture of me, and that was kind of one of the first posts I made. And then there's so much downtime in fighting. Like, you can't train hard for 8 hours a day like a regular job. You die. So you train 2-3 hours in the morning, 2-3 hours in the evening, and there's a lot of space in there. So before I had kids, you could waste it playing video games. You could waste it, on social media scrolling. I decided I was just going to try to make little photo edits and artwork, I guess you would say, on Photoshop and stuff. And then I started using that, and like I would make shirts and sweaters for my family as gifts as part of my whole thing. And then it has developed into a bit of like my second one of my other passions is like, I like clothing. I like the expression people can make through clothing. I'm no designer, but I do design graphics for clothing, and I'm getting more into the manufacturing side of things. Like, I think it's a real shame that we don't make much in Canada in terms of clothing. We used to, and that sort of all moved away. And just exploring that side of things has been important. And then, yeah, like there's so many permutations of rat garbage. When Dana reminded me how old I am, I thought it was perfect to make an acronym out of rat. Whereas people might have an aversion to the word generally, but like making it a pointed thing, race against time, we're all kind of, you need to strike while the iron's hot. Life is essentially very short, and you only have so much time to make the most of it. So I thought this was a good moment to do
So that rat may have like sacrificed himself for you.
It's all sort of part of the grand plan.
When I went on your Insta, I noticed, like, I'm expecting the usual, like you say, updates, and here's my
What's up, guys?
routine.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really artistic. So refreshing.
Yeah. I try, like, if you want the other stuff, there's space for it. But I don't think many people are doing what I'm doing, especially in the MMA space, which, like that's what I think what everybody should strive to do is like be as unique as they are. Like, we're all snowflakes, right? Like, why be just like everybody else?
I've taken a deep dive into podcasts. So I don't watch movies anymore. Nighttime for me is like, there's so much interesting stuff going on in the world.
Too much to learn.
Yeah, and so much to learn, right? And so a couple of the podcasters that I kind of look up to, they've made the point of how there has to be a sense of adventure in your life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's hitting home. I'm having the visions of you in Japan sitting next to or lying down next to the rat. And the journey since then. And it has me this has me in this adventurous mindset. So good for you with the Instagram and not just going.
Yeah, it's easy. Like, it is easy, and maybe it is like dollars and cents better, but is it fulfilling? Because all you can do is enjoy life, and what metric you measure that by is like up to you. But just kind of falling in line to make the most money or get the most followers seems like a big waste of time to me. But if you derive enjoyment from that, more power to you.
I had my own experience, and we were talking about it before recording, that I, like you, wasn't into social media. Finally, someone that I kind of look up to said, no, you got to be on this.
Yeah.
And I tried to do these kind of cute little clips earlier this year, do 20 takes. I couldn't stand it. There's always something I didn't like. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And then I got, someone gave me the idea. sit down with people, do these long form podcasts, don't do any editing.
Yeah.
And and it's been, I've only done a few, like this
Hmm.
is maybe number 10, but it's a cool way to get to know somebody in depth.
Yeah.
And it's like going out for coffee, but there's this added element of, hey, we're recording something
It's
for
for a
people to
purpose.
enjoy.
Yeah.
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 Um, Back to Vegas that night, a few weeks back,
Hmm.
I saw the clip with you and Dana, and it was cool
Yeah.
that you were interactive with them and not just kind of like in awe.
Yeah.
And you're making reference to like, hey, use me, I'm out there, I'm available.
Yeah.
This is not like some other let's call it sport where you have a set schedule. It's kind of at the whims of the UFC slash
Yeah.
Dana White. Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So a lot of it is luck. Like if the right matchups fall apart and you're ready, you can be the person to take those matchups and like really move up quickly. There are people who just kind of say, I'm fighting 3 times a year. They tell their manager, I'll be ready 4 months from now. Don't send anything my way. But like I'm of the opinion that if you can stay physically ready and mentally ready, you're better off. And the UFC does love it if you will jump on a card that's falling apart, because really the business is based on matchups. And if they have guys that need to fight and people that have already paid money to watch these guys fight in 2 weeks, and one of them gets injured, they need to fix that, because now there's millions of dollars that have gone into the promotion of this, at least one of the athletes. And if that guy doesn't fight, then the whole thing blows up and people are pissed off. So like you can, with some intention, move up much quicker if you're like, hey, I'm ready to fight on this night. I'm ready to fight right now. I'll fight in a week, you know? It's difficult, because injuries happen and life and family, but if your family supports it and you can swing it, it's way better for sure.
How did you begin with MMA? I know I think you're from Montreal originally.
I started training there, but I'm from all over.
Mm.
I started my martial arts journey in Ottawa, where I went to high school. And there was just kind of a dead period where I wasn't playing high school sports. And my mother was like, you have to do something. So she signed me up for a jujitsu class um, when I was 15 or 16. And initially I did the trial week or whatever, where they give you a gi and you spend $100 or whatever.
Hmm.
And I just wasn't going back. And then the instructor called me. I remember I was at a friend's house
Uh
and I had no good excuse why I didn't show back up. So I was like, I guess I'll come back next
huh.
week. And then I was hooked after that. So the callbacks really do work if you're a business owner. Um, but yeah, then basically, because I was so obsessed with jujitsu when I was 16, 17, I really didn't care about secondary education. Both my parents are well educated and they thought that that's the route to success. I mean, every parent at that age did. So I went to university for 2 years, but like, I really phoned it in.
What did you study?
It was a pre-law program at Carleton University in
Okay.
Ottawa. And, like I was barely doing the work. I remember I realized I needed to drop out when there was one time I was cutting weight for an amateur kickboxing fight
Hmm.
and I was so thirsty. I went to go drink water at the water fountain. And I was like, oh yeah, I can't drink water. I have to go make weight in an hour. I got to take the bus. So I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I was I was supposed to do an exam. It was for like a psychology, course or something.
Mm.
And I hadn't studied at all. So I crammed right up until like 4 a.m. the night before. And then I slept right through the exam.
Oh no.
And I woke up and I felt no shame at all. I was like, so then I
That's
was
when
like,
you
okay,
know.
it's time to be over this. And then I committed full on to MMA.
Look, I mentioned earlier I've done like gone down the rabbit holes with these
Hmm.
podcasts, and the future of secondary education so much up in the air.
Yes.
Like I heard it put really well. It's like the future economy will be about content creation.
Hmm.
And there was a good rationale for this because if you study X, well, software engineering is
Yeah.
an obvious one.
Hmm.
4 or 5 year intense program, And all of a sudden, from what I hear, AI does it better than 90% of humans
Yes.
already. And then I heard the counter argument that no, 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 it's just a tool and someone has to be overseeing it. Fine.
Hmm.
But where in the past you maybe required 100 guys,
Yeah.
don't tell me that 100 guys will still be there while the AI is
Exactly.
doing the legwork. Maybe 5 guys will be there
Yeah.
in an oversight role. So, getting back to secondary education, with my kids, they're still 10 or so years off.
Hmm.
Um, this path has been kind of the way to go for now a few generations.
Yeah.
Um, it's falling apart already before our eyes. And I'm going to go on a mini rant, but this whole thing with credentialization,
Yeah.
I have a Bachelor of Commerce. I think I know this. Lena maybe knows this
Hmm.
because, yeah, I may have mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't put it after my name
Hmm.
because there's, not 100,000 people that have the same designation. And
Hmm.
it wasn't really effective even back then when I
Yeah.
took it. And I'm going to get in trouble with some of the viewers, maybe some of the 20 viewers,
Yeah.
but i- the profs that we were learning from, like this was business. They were not out in the business world.
Yeah.
They were there in a sheltered.
They're dinosaurs. They learned everything, 40 years ago, and now they're professors. And the world's moved past what they.
Bingo.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's what happens. Like, I'm not saying all professors aren't good, but like you've been in an academic setting, like unless you're in an academic field and you're doing research every day, um, you're like you're not a you're not working like a blue collar person who's like hustling to make, like, you're just teaching the information in the book. I've always thought that secondary education has its place and it's had its place forever, but like
Mm.
the value isn't there any longer. Like there's no guarantee that you're spending X amount of dollars every year, and then at the end of 4 years, you have a job. That's like all my friends who finished their degrees, they were working retail jobs,
Yeah.
for 5 years afterwards until they got some, you know, real experience in the workforce. I think when I was growing up, academia was so revered. I went to like a very academic centered high school.
Mm.
And if you were going to college, not university, you were like one of the
I remember
dummies.
that.
Yeah, you couldn't you if you were going to Algonquin College rather than Carleton or Ottawa U, you were brain dead.
And it was never warranted because the guys going to like an Algonquin or in Toronto was Seneca
Yeah,
Humber. More often than not, these were practical, like,
they're in the job field
yeah,
in a year. They're an apprentice, and then
yeah.
they're an electrician making way more money than the people that are slogging it away like in some crummy arts program. Like it's so silly to have had that framework, and we really need to break it because being a homeowner now, whenever I need to hire somebody to fix an electrical problem or a plumbing issue, like I'm like, so first of all, so thankful.
Yeah.
And whatever they charge me, I can't say no to, like
I got to take you upstairs later because I'm doing my own electrical.
when you're,
I could
you're
just
brave.
feel Lena rolling
Yeah.
her eyes right now. But yeah, so things back then were already like, this was already in my mind way back then. And now the
Mhm.
pace of change. And by the way, this is where people watching this are going to say, this is where Oliver went off the deep end. But I see you're open minded. So I'll come right out and say it.
Mm,
Um, and I think there's a common thread to this. At some point, I'll try to tie it all
connect them.
together.
Mhm.
That is the pace of change. It's, I think we're walking around as if there's not much going on.
Yeah.
And yet we could, in not so many years, find ourselves in a Terminator scenario.
Yeah. Like things are moving really fast.
To laugh at that, I
Yeah.
think, is ignorant.
Mhm.
Look, fingers crossed it doesn't go there, but it's Terminator, RoboCop. These are scenarios that now are at least plausible.
Definitely. Especially in terms of like what people are okay in terms of ease of living and freedoms to forego for the feeling of absolute safety. Like I think there are a lot of people that just want to feel secure and
Mhm.
are willing to let go of a lot of things that I really enjoy about life. Because it's like, oh, it doesn't affect me. Like, uh, it's fine if they search my stuff, or they can, or there's cameras here, or they're listening in on this. Like, and these conversations come up every few years, and everybody's just like, oh,
Oh,
it's
everyone's so casual.
yeah,
Oh, the one that always comes up, and every time people laugh at it is you have a conversation with your wife at night about buying a new dresser drawer,
yeah,
and then it's on your
yeah,
feed the next
exactly.
morning.
Like,
What?
is that not problematic? But most people are like, oh, it's fine.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's so silly. But like that, the the end point of that seems like something that nobody really thinks about.
No, in these interviews with Sam Altman, the guy who's behind OpenAI,
Mm,
and these other like top guys with AI development, they don't have the answer. They don't know. The interviewer might ask like, "How do you envision 2030?" The answer essentially is, "I don't know."
it's hard to
And
say.
this is how it's going to go down,
Hmm.
possibly. As you can as you can tell, I've been giving this a little bit of thought. And with all of this, I hope I'm wrong. Imagine a robot, friendly looking, like 4 feet tall,
Yeah,
made by Tesla, and it'll do all your cooking and housework.
yeah,
And it costs $1,500.
yeah,
You might say, yeah, there's a component of society that'll say, I'll never have a robot in my house.
yeah,
And then there's the other 50 odd percent. They'll be like, this is going to improve my life drastically.
yeah,
Bring it on. And then what? Like, so it's not to say there's a lot of steps that have to happen between that and Terminator.
yeah, yeah.
And the point being that how, what's the kill switch look like?
Hmm.
And there's the fact that there's no answer. And I'm bringing this up with people I look up to, like yourself and just buddies.
Hmm.
And most guys haven't thought of it. Um, the odd guy said, "Yeah, the Terminator is on my mind."
Yeah, yeah.
But we, eh, I guess I'm taking this back to talking about our kids and the future and
Hmm.
secondary education. What's the value add when AI and technology is
That's
accelerating at this pace?
yeah. Like, being a kid who grew up with the internet, um, I understood, and I understand more now, how much of a disconnect there was between my parents and I. Like, they didn't understand anything about what I was able to do on the computer on my own. Luckily, I, didn't do anything crazy. I was just playing video games essentially and chatting. But
Mhm.
there are kids who learn to hack, and they've hacked, government databases and huge companies at 16, 15. The internet is such an amazing place, and there's such a disconnect between parents and kids in terms of what is capable. And that disconnect is only going to grow. Like, I'm going to know so little about what my kids are able to do on whatever device they
Yeah.
are able to have when they're teenagers. So my only my only thought with when it comes to raising your kids in this age is like, find something real that they're passionate about that is irreplaceable. I think like anything that is tactile is pretty irreplaceable. Anything that is artistic is pretty irreplaceable. No computer will make genuine art that is appreciated in a deep way by humans. Um, they can't screw a screw. They can't problem solve in a way. All they can do is pull from previous information that's been
Mhm.
input. So if you have unique thoughts, you're relatively safe. So like, I'm lucky. I'm in athletics. Like, that's not going anywhere.
Mhm.
Um, if your kid wants to be an athlete, that's hard. But like, uh, but yeah, like, if they have a passion for something that is real, I think the fields that are going to change are like lawyers and doctors. I think that's like a general practitioner is gonna that field is gonna be totally different because you like an AI learned system is gonna know so much about whatever question you have, and you'll be able to take a picture and ask it exactly and tell it your symptoms, and it can just spit out. So is that gonna
Mhm.
be like, are doctors now gonna be custodians to the AI that or are they going to be the only ones with access to this medical AI? Like, it's all very interesting, but I think,
Mhm.
yeah, anything that is like it is truly new, it is something that I don't think you have to worry about.
And even if we get to the moment where AI, I think we're already there, can do
Mm,
this incredible art,
yeah.
the value of a human doing it, it there's going to be a premium with human interaction and
Yes.
connection. And I agree with you. In a world of AI and robots,
Yeah.
like again, don't accuse me of going off the deep end, but we're going to have robot deliveries,
Yeah.
and this
We're
is in
already
the
there.
coming years.
Yeah.
We're basically there. So the value of human contact, of having, this idea of like having a place in the woods you can get away with, and maybe hosting a few people for
Yes.
yoga, that's already highly prized.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be even more so in the coming years. Uh, uh, Tactile pursuits, artistic pursuits, athletics. And when the Terminator robots come, you're going to be ready.
Yeah. To a degree. I mean, I don't feel like punching a robot in the head.
Yeah. Um, on that topic of being ready for the Terminator robots,
Mm.
you're opening up a gym. This
Yes.
is hot off the
We'll
press.
prepare everybody.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
You just alluded to it before we started recording. It's in downtown Toronto. I'm already excited just based on the concept you
Mm.
presented to me. What can you share?
Yeah, so it's coming soon. I mean, it would have been sooner if I hadn't had this training camp to complete, but it's me and the best black belts in the city are opening up a mostly jiu-jitsu gym. We're going to see if MMA is part of what we want to teach, but it's a different demographic. Like MMA is a bigger ask than just jiu-jitsu, and it's going to be all no-gi. But the concept is just to have a place that's downtown that people feel comfortable going. It's clean and well ventilated and well lit. So, all the nastiness that comes with martial arts, people can kind of ignore. Everything will be pristine and, yeah, friendly people and really, really good instructions are like the main through line that we'll have.
Mhm.
But
Just that, like, we're chuckling, but when I did a little bit of Thai kickboxing, it was in a basement. That part
yeah,
was fine, but the change room
yeah,
was the size of, it was like 10 by 10.
yeah,
There'd be like 30 of us in there at the time.
yeah,
It wasn't pleasant.
no,
And you're trying to get into you're trying to be in a certain mindset. Maybe you feel great after it,
yeah,
and then you have to, half the time I would just take off
yeah,
sweating. It's -10
exactly.
outside. So just the very idea of having a clean place to go, it's huge. And the wrinkle I like, the way you described it, location wise, is that it's in a part of town that I think fits really well with what you're trying to do. There's
Yeah.
nothing like it yet. And do you have, I think you mentioned you don't have a particular date yet, but
No,
this is
nothing
coming,
set.
this is in the coming months. This
Yeah,
is
it's
not.
it's it's imminent. Yeah, it's, like, the mats are down. We're just picking the final touches. We want everything to be really nice in there for the general public. We already have people training there. We're just not ready to show the world yet,
Mhm,
but, it should be, our plan, sort of. I have a friend, Ayman Zahabi, who's fighting in Vancouver in mid-October. And once he is done with that fight, he's a big part of my life in martial arts, and his brother is my coach. So once they're done, we'll have a big grand opening. We'll have my coach, we'll have Eamon, we'll have hopefully George St. Pierre will come for the grand opening. I haven't told him yet, but I'm gonna I'm gonna hopefully twist his
this is your
arm.
invite,
Yeah,
George.
exactly. And it should be like a big thing.
My son, who
Yeah.
we're in the same neighborhood. So my son, he was doing, he was going to um, jujitsu for close to 2 years,
Hmm.
and then he's now into soccer,
Yeah.
the certain commitment, and swimming. But I've what does training at a young age, and you weren't training at that age,
Hmm.
but you've seen it since, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What does it do for a young kid in terms of their confidence and their outlook.
I think martial arts especially, but I think most sports have a natural hierarchy that is not it doesn't really exist in the world we live in here in Toronto any longer. Like, I think respect for elders, respect for seniority is something that is very important. I think innately in humans, and I think that it's more or less lost in the general world right now here in Toronto, and that's a huge part of it. Like if your kid says thank you to an adult, that adult will be flabbergasted here in Toronto. You know, like manners are something that's completely lost on this generation of kids, and providing that structure and understanding that even if you disagree, it might be the right thing for you. I think that helped me as a teen, and I think
Hmm.
it helps every kid just sort of learn that sometimes you have to fall in line to achieve a greater goal. You know, you can't always be crazy and wild and excel, right? Like
Hmm.
sometimes you have to follow the steps. And then kids like being physical, and most of the time they're not allowed to be. If they shove somebody on the playground, that's a problem. You're getting a call from the principal or you're getting a talk from the teacher afterwards. Um, in jiu-jitsu, it's a safe place, or in martial arts generally, it's a safe place for kids to explore that part of life without it being a negative, and they really do have a lot of fun. I mean,
Mm.
Oro, my son had a birthday party, and downstairs in the basement, we just have like a old mattress that we put on the floor. And the kids were wrestling hard, like sweating. And you could see in their faces, they were getting like not angry, just they wanted to win. They wanted to knock the other person off the mattress or whatever.
Oh, I wish I
And
was there.
yeah, it was good. I was just like blocking to make sure they didn't run into the fireplace.
Did Noah get into the mix as well?
Yeah, yeah. Noah was doing it. And like they were getting intense, but not in a negative way. Just,
Love it.
and there was no bad feelings. And if somebody got a little bit hurt, I was just, all right, clear off, nobody jump on them while they're hurt. But, it wasn't like a big pity party where they would be, crying for 20 minutes and I'm consoling. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, you got hurt. You'll be fine. You want to have you want to have fun more than you want to sit and cry. So like,
Mm.
y- you're hurt, go, walk it off and you can come back into it and it'll be fun. And they loved it. Like they were playing down there for 40 minutes, just running into each other. And I think that that's something that is uh, super valuable to kids, especially young boys. The amount of times Noah's the same, like he just wants to kind of kick or punch or shove or somebody, and it's like he's not allowed anywhere except for on the mats. And then, as long as there's an instructor around, they can do it, and it's totally safe.
Hmm.
And in the martial arts world now, especially in jiu-jitsu, people are so good. The best jiu-jitsu players in the world are like between 16 and 22. Like 17-year-old kids are winning $1 million in grappling tournaments because they're just so
Mm.
good. And there's because they grew up in the age of social media. There's footage of them. There's pictures of them in their white belts when they're 3 years old, with their father or mother or senior instructor. And now you can see them become elite jiu-jitsu athletes. Because that's really never happened in martial arts. Like,
Hmm.
and in most sports, right? Like, I guess hockey or baseball, people would raise their kids with the kind of plan he's going to make the NBA, he's going to make the NHL. But um, as long as your kid loves it, you can give them a leg up just by putting them in something this early. Like Noah plays piano, or as well, and like that's just a free skill that you will provide to him. And let's say he doesn't want to work at the Gap in the mall when he's 16. He can teach people piano. He can teach
Hmm.
young kids piano, and that's more money, more comfortable on his own time. And that's just something you gave him. And like, if he continues with jujitsu when he's 17, 16, he'll be able to teach a whole class of kids jujitsu and get paid by the gym. And that's like, he learned that when he was, before he was 10. That's like amazing. And not a lot of people think that way when it comes to parenting. Like,
Hmm.
you can give them all these skills and they can just use that for free. It wasn't like extra work for them. They have nothing but time,
uh, Noah, my son was at school. I still remember this. It was after school. So you touched upon there being no outlet at school and in
Yeah.
society
Mhm.
in general. Perfect case in point, him and another kid who maybe also does martial arts
Yeah.
started grappling.
Mhm.
One kid was on top of the other and vice versa.
Yeah.
And no one's intervening because it's after school
Yes.
and they were cool.
Yeah.
Like no bad feelings. And it was in fact fun.
Yeah.
There's some giggles involved. And you could see that going off the rails so easily
Yeah.
without that background. And what was really cool when Noah started jujitsu is it was the first class where, and you touched upon this, it was the first class or his very first exposure into a world where, hey, there's a way we do things.
Yeah.
This is the warm up.
Yeah.
Here's the line you run around.
Yeah.
There is there's a place for this, but we've gone over the top, and that is anything goes,
Mhm.
right? So especially at that age, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the sport is, you want to follow your own rules, great. And there has to be a moment in life where you get exposed to real life, which
Yeah.
is, hey, we live
There's
in
a
a world of
framework.
a certain
Yeah.
framework, and here it is, this amazing outlet um, for boys and girls,
Mhm.
and yeah, there's a framework and there's a way to do things, and so just to see him and other kids being able to, like, you could have another kid, maybe even a little bigger, on
Mhm.
top of you and not panic
Yeah.
over the 60-second
You just deal with the
mini round.
discomfort. Yeah.
Deal with it. That's priceless. And
Huge.
so I think I'm talking myself into getting him back in. Like he was doing it up until a few months ago,
Yeah.
and time to get him back in for sure. So you alluded to something that has also fallen on my radar, which
Mm.
is again with kids not having this idea of anything goes, respect for elders. It's it's become it's I think it's gone from the exception to the norm.
Yeah.
And here's my story: is before having kids, I didn't understand this whole why people were so hung up on school district, the kind of parents that are involved,
Yes.
and I'm like, well, c'est la vie. Like to each their own. You can
Yeah.
have your kids. No,
No,
it
it's
really is the the other kids and parents that your kids are exposed
yeah.
to, um, whether it be school or even before school, after school.
Yeah.
And the message that kids are getting today, at least where we live, is you can talk back, you can complain about what was packed in your lunch,
Yeah.
no repercussions. In fact,
No,
sometimes
we'll apologize to you.
apologies,
Yeah.
parental apologies. And guess what? Whatever you're trying to build at home,
Yeah.
your kid is watching that scene unfold and taking it all in.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
you could say whatever you want after that.
It's an uphill battle.
It's
Like
an
if
uphill battle.
90% of their interactions with other kids are, oh, that kid gets to do what he wants. They get to do whatever they
Yeah.
want. Yeah. And to a certain degree, like I'm over it, but I did always feel like, am I the weirdo being strict? Like I would, take my kid and be like, speak to me like a proper person.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like a baby. Don't yell at me. Like I don't yell at you. Like, but
Yeah.
I see a lot of parents getting walked all over. Like, come on.
Step it up.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to distribute this to the parents of our neighborhood
Yeah,
here.
exactly. It'll be a little
Public
PSA.
service announcement. Yeah. Um, I have a buddy, Tyler, who grew up in Ottawa as well.
Mm.
And I think it's around your age. And he actually, I did a podcast with him,
Hmm.
Division One football, NFL, CFL.
Wow.
And you guys might have some of the same circles, but I like the way he put it once. I'll send this to Tyler. And he has a son around Noah's age.
Mm.
One day the son says, at the end of the statement, and Tyler said, "Don't bro me."
Yeah.
And there was no laughing or
No, yeah.
this wasn't funny. Don't bro me. And I thought that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like if you don't set the line at "Don't bro me,"
Yeah.
everything's
It's just a
open.
landslide from there. Yeah, for sure. Even like my sister's involved in my kid's life a lot, and they don't call her Auntie Sierra. They call her Sierra. It's been now like months of me being like, no. Her name is Auntie Sierra. You're going to call her by her proper title. We're not first name people. You don't call me Mandel. You don't call your mother Evelyn. You call us mom and dad. That's fine. You don't have to call me father, But yeah, there are certain things that, it's just like if my son called you Oliver, I would say, hey, that's Noah's father. Say Mr. Mako or Noah's dad. That's a fine way of putting it. But
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, because there's a lot of overlap here, let's just say, because not only do I get Oliver,
Mm,
I get Ollie,
yeah,
which
which is
makes me
like
feel like I'm 8
yeah,
again.
exactly.
Lena calls me Ollie,
Hmm.
and somehow now the neighborhood kids know me as Ollie.
Yeah,
Like, what am I, 8?
come on. Yeah,
Oh boy, kids. So, martial arts, it's priceless to get your kids into it. I didn't have that exposure growing up,
mm,
but just through Noah and seeing the classes, absolutely priceless. I'm gonna get him back in. Coach Chris, we're coming back. He did send speaking of callbacks
yeah.
from your martial arts teacher way back then, I did get an email
Yes.
and I said,
Okay.
"Hey, we're busy. We got soccer," and now I
Yeah.
feel like it's a cop out. So gonna get Noah back in.
Yeah. No, it's like you can definitely swing it. We go to a place up the street, and we like it because there's a Sunday at I think it's 11:15 class, and
Yeah.
that's a good time. It's just about finding a good time that fits into your schedule. Like you have to be able to just make it simple. Because really, jujitsu is one of those things the kid's going to have fun. Like, I don't force my kids to do anything. If they don't enjoy soccer, they don't have to play soccer.
Yeah.
But they will find something that they do enjoy. And once they find that, I'm going to do everything I can to put them into it. And the easier it is on my schedule, the better, because it's a lot of driving around, even in a neighborhood as good as Riverdale.
What would you say to the dads, let's say
Hmm.
roughly our age? We have a bit of an age gap, but the dads of the neighborhood and anybody watching. Um, let's say you've never done any martial arts.
Yeah.
How would you get into it? Like, you have to be conscious of being more injury prone.
Yes.
I think especially starting. So going in blindly obviously is not the way to go. But what would you suggest?
Yeah, so for an adult, I think the best thing you can do is start with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because there's no striking involved,
Mhm.
which is a huge barrier to break through. Like, I don't think anybody really needs to learn a striking discipline unless they love it. And you get more out of Jiu-Jitsu workouts than you do a kickboxing workout. Like, you can hit pads or the bag, but like you're really not getting better at a skill. You're just getting tired.
Mm.
Until you're sparring, the skill development in Thai boxing or kickboxing is like fairly minimal, I think, personally, as a professional. Whereas jiu-jitsu, like within your first month, you can be wrestling with other people and really like trying to win. Maybe not the full spectrum of the game, but you can like work on your pins, work on your escapes. These are real world. Like, I'm not saying everybody needs to do martial arts for self-defense, but like it really does put you in a good mental framework to understand what it is. Like, most people walking around don't understand what it is to like wrestle with somebody. If somebody grabs your arm, like, do you know how to break the grip? Like, most people don't. And jujitsu at least gets you there, and then you can, ramp it up from there or not. But like, you can actually do the full sport within your first month. I would say sign up with a friend is like the easiest thing. Like, tell your buddy you have a week trial week. It costs $50, and we can show up as many times as a week. Let's plan to go 3 times, and then if your buddy bails and you enjoy it, then at least you've broken the ice at the gym,
Hmm.
and there are some other people you've interacted with. But going alone is tricky. I think women especially like sign up with a friend because it is like it is a close contact sport, and you just a lot of people aren't comfortable with the type of movement
Sure.
that happens in jiu-jitsu. Sign up with a friend for everybody, women especially, and then don't disrespect the warm up. It's it's a part of it for a reason. I'm a guy who never warmed up until I realized that it's just a part of longevity. Like, it's just a piece of the game. You can't get started without the warm up. So yeah, do the warm up and be ready to just like it is a different way of being, and don't be overly competitive. Like, there are a lot of people that really stagnate in jiu-jitsu because they don't want to even move because they might get submitted. Where like
Mm.
if you open up your game and I've seen guys lose rounds for 6 months trying stuff, and then the next 6 months they're way better. And then I've seen guys not lose rounds, but less so for 10 years, and they're still a blue belt because they just never do anything more than the stuff they're comfortable with.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, just be understanding that like if you're at a good gym, the instructor will help you to not get injured. Like I know as a gym owner, a big piece of my job will be curating the roles or the matches so that the students who are less competitive and less intense don't have to roll with maybe the sort of stereotype is police officers. A 45-year-old police officer is going to try to rip your head off no matter what. So maybe those guys, they roll together, and then the
Yeah.
people that don't want to go crazy and have bruises at the end of the session, they roll with each other too. And like a good instructor should have a room where everybody can get what they want. But don't be afraid of jiu-jitsu. It's like the safest thing in the world. A mother who in the neighborhood was at jiu-jitsu the other day, and
Mhm.
they're just practicing like side control, like one kid on top of the other, trying to hold him down. The
Mhm.
kid on bottom is trying to get up. And she's like, "You're not afraid that somebody's going to break a rib or something?" No, if the kids can play on the monkey bars at school, this is way safer than monkey bars, So,
Mhm.
no, it's very safe.
There's a in Toronto and look, other places, but in Toronto, there's this rage. Like
Mm.
when you're driving between
Yeah, yeah,
traffic, all of society's ills. Those couple of years I did Thai kickboxing, um, walking out of that studio is the calmest you're gonna feel
yeah.
the whole week.
It is.
It's so calming. So there's a dichotomy. You might say, from the outside looking in, "Oh, I don't have that. It's really intense, and there's this that's not me." Well, hang on.
Yeah,
You like, if you feel any kind of rage in your life during
yeah,
the week, this is your outlet.
yeah. It's a little pressure valve, lets you get that a little bit of that out without yelling at a family member or doing something uncharacteristic. You get to exhale in that way in a space that everybody's doing the same thing, everybody's at the same level, and then you go home and you get to enjoy your life as you are.
What is the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months look like for you?
Yeah, so right now I'm just recovering from minor injuries that I got for the fight and for the camp. Like, it's 6 weeks of training, and training is like sparring, which is about as close to a fight as you can get.
Mhm.
So just recovering from that, making sure my weight is good because there's a big fluctuation in weight. I always lose about 30 pounds to get on weight,
Mhm.
but I lost, 20 pounds in a week. And then I gained another 20 pounds. Now I'm back to normal. So that's always something to not do too much of.
Mhm.
And then hopefully get a fight in December or January. And that'll be another big, commitment of time for me
Mhm.
and my family, and win that fight and then keep the ball rolling from there. But the plan is to fight and do as well as I can in the UFC. I think I can go quite far whilst also building the gym here and making it uh, hopefully the best gym in the city, like in terms of jiu-jitsu instruction.
Love it.
Yeah,
And the two go hand in hand because how do you get the gym out there to people? How do you spread the
exactly.
message? Well, partially through
The better I do, the more of a testament it is to our skills there. And like being here in the city, one thing as a competitive martial artist, like it's very fragmented. There isn't a lot of camaraderie in the Toronto martial arts scene. Like if you train at X gym and you want to go train with the other best guy in the city who trains at another gym, that's not supposed to happen. Like either your coach is going to say no,
Mhm.
or the other guy is going to say no. We might fight each other in 6 months. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to
Hmm.
spar you or whatever. So having a place that's mine where I can invite whoever I want, and there's no hard feelings. Like it's not Toronto against Toronto. It's not Canada against Canada. Like we're competing against the rest of the world. So the more we can do to bolster our chances against, the Dagestanis, like who are just a country built on fighting, the Brazilians who are same thing,
Hmm.
the Americans, our mindset should be we're trying to get like on their level in terms of competition. So yeah, like it'll be really nice to have a place where I can say open sparring. Anybody who's at a pro level can come to our gym, and we'll make sure everybody's safe.
Hmm.
That's huge.
Not flying through the glass.
Yes, yes, exactly. We'll make sure there's a barrier for the glass.
um, a- and this explains why you went to Montreal for
Yeah,
your camp, doesn't it?
and that's one thing that TriStar has. That's the gym I train at in Montreal. Like early on, they said anybody can come here for pro sparring. It's invite only, so we have to see that you're good enough.
Hmm.
But it used to be 3 p.m. on Saturday. Anybody from the city or anybody that we've invited, I used to drive there from Ottawa, can come spar and bring your coach. Like we're not trying to poach your members. We're not trying to say, hey, you should leave that guy. He's not as good. Like,
Hmm.
just come, get some work, and then we're all cool. And we might fight each other, because it's a small demographic of people, but we're trying to get better. And that doesn't exist anywhere.
So that's the approach or the niche you're trying to fill
Yes,
here in Toronto, a market that has to be at least as large as Montreal's, and yet there's this
exactly.
vacuum. I just saw. Speaking of you mentioned GSP earlier, and hopefully he shows up for your
Yeah.
launch. Um, it was Joe Rogan just mentioned the other day, like what's the topic came up of what he's up to these
Mm,
days, and apparently he goes around the world still to train.
yeah.
He'll go to Thailand, he'll go to Japan,
George is amazing.
and he's there to learn.
Yep.
The how humble
He
to accomplish what he has, and to much of the reason he's been able to accomplish all of that
mhm,
has to be this kind of mindset of I'm going to go learn from the best
yeah,
and be humble about it. It comes through in interviews. Is that your kind of experience with him as well?
yeah. George is about the best student anybody could ask for. He is fully committed to learning whatever technique you're putting in front of him. Like he will not argue. I've seen many athletes who are like, that move just doesn't work for me. My legs are too short. My arms are too long. Like they'll have a million excuses. George just does the move happily, excitedly,
Hmm.
and he's not like waiting on the edge of the mat for his perfect training partner. He's not walking onto the mats and saying, hey, other black belt, come drill with me. I've seen George walk into the gym and train with a blue belt that is from out of town. And just like he happily drills with everybody, does the techniques, and he has the same passion for teaching as he does learning. So he will, on the next day, if somebody has a question for him, he'll spend 15 minutes answering their question. He's an inspiration. George is my true idol. I mean, I'm lucky to be his friend, but um, I think his approach to martial arts is unparalleled.
And you know him in person. Like
Hmm.
this even comes through in interviews. And
Yeah, no,
what a national treasure. Not just again what he accomplished, but the way he did it.
no, yeah, he is unique in mixed martial arts. Like there are a lot of hotheads that got more famous than George, but he's one of one when it comes to being respectful, respectable, humble, passionate. Like there are a lot of people who are brazen and loud and boisterous, but George was himself, uh, in the only way that he can be. He's yeah, the best.
Absolutely look up to him and all you guys. So my small journey with kickboxing,
Hmm.
I started from absolute beginner. It's a great experience, like I mentioned, walking out at the end of class, which was
Yeah.
mostly just cardio and hitting a bag, but it's a great experience. But fast forward towards the end of it, I don't know why I stopped, but we were introduced to light sparring.
Mm,
So I remember my first session, and it was a guy kind of ahead of me, and we're there, right? And I don't know how to describe this, but it's been too long for you. Or maybe you never had this sensation, but I saw the I saw the fist coming,
yeah.
and I'm like, I better get out of the way. But by the time it connected to my muscles,
Yeah.
I was hit.
You already hit. Yeah.
After a minute or two, the guy says in a nice way, he said, Are you gonna move?"
Yeah.
So that's my sparring experience. to go from that to being in the ring or even to do like live sparring,
Yeah.
the utmost respect because I never had the connection between what I saw
It
and
takes
actually getting out of the way.
a long time. I think that's the biggest barrier because it is very abnormal to see a punch coming at your face and have no stress. If you're either going to just understand, okay, I'm going to eat this one, or you see it and it's second nature, you put your hand up and block it, or you
Mhm,
slip it if you're very high level. Um, Most people will close their eyes, they'll turn away, they'll freeze, and it takes months. And I've seen people in the wrong gym. I think there's a lot more room for injury in kickboxing because in the wrong gym,
mhm,
if let's say a beginner does a little bit better than they should against a more experienced guy, if that guy's not smart, he's going to hurt the
that's the
beginner.
other
Yeah,
thing. I was getting tapped
yeah,
but I was starting to feel it like,
yeah,
"Ooh, my head's buzzing a bit." This
exactly.
was at 3 out of 10 power.
Because I understand the mindset of the, let's say, person who's been training for 4 years. They're not anywhere near pro level,
Mhm,
but they have a bit of a, you know, superiority complex when they're sparring somebody who's been training for a year
mhm,
and they get touched because they're really not very good, at kickboxing. They've been training as a hobbyist for 4 years, but they have this idea that they're really good compared to a 1 year guy. The 1 year
mhm,
guy starts to touch them and things start to get higher. And the 1 year guy maybe doesn't understand. It's their second time sparring. They're just like, oh, I'm doing pretty well. And then something big happens and it's like, oh, well, that's a full reset now. The guy who has
mhm.
only been training for a year, you know, he's fully deterred from wanting to spar. And he might actually have something serious to contend with. Like, it's amazing that this many people do striking sports because it's like it's serious and you really need a good room to have the instructor and all the students understand like we don't hurt each other here. Zero.
So I get it, I get it. So if and when I get back into it, martial arts, it's not gonna be down that path. I think you've convinced me.
Yeah, like unless you really have a passion for it, I don't see the upside
Yeah.
because the the end point of learning to kickbox is to kickbox in a sparring sense because that's the level of comfort you need to and the pitfalls of sparring are so deep.
Mm,
Whereas like in jiu-jitsu, there should be no room where a simple tap, like you're the chances of you getting injured are so low if you're humble. Because if you're stuck in a submission, as long as you tap, you're okay. The only times I've seen somebody really get hurt bad in a safe room in jiu-jitsu is when
ego.
they don't want to give it up and their arms twisted behind their back and they're just not, and then something snaps, obviously. But
Mhm,
that's on them as much as it is on their training partner, So
mhm,
that
mhm.
that, that doesn't happen um, in kickboxing because in kickboxing, the 4 year, senior gets tapped on the nose, gets angry, loses himself for one second, throws a punch that's a little too hard, and then that's a huge mistake, and nobody
Gotcha.
nobody had any say in that.
Wow, we've covered some good territory. So, if I'm to sum up, it's, parents of the neighborhood, you gotta be strict.
Yeah, it'll make your kids more fun to be around.
That too.
If your kid is it like you would never hang out with somebody who disrespects you all day and then walks all over you and then
Absolutely.
so I want to hang out with my kids. I love my kids the most in the world, so I want them to be people that I want to spend as much time as possible with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number 2, start training
Yeah.
for the robots that are coming to dominate us. Number 3, be open to a future that might be very different from what we're accustomed to,
Yeah.
and,
Get real skills. Get
real
real
skills.
tangible skills.
Absolutely. So, without further ado, this is my, official Rad Garbage, merchandise, and apparently I'm one of the first few to get one of these,
You
right?
are, yeah.
Right.
This is so this place mills all the fabric in Ontario, and then construction happens in Brampton. And then the print shop is on Sororan Avenue down in Roncesvalles. He
Love it.
uses non-toxic ink.
Man, love it.
Yeah, huge print on the back. This guy's it's Private Press Printing is the guy who does all my printing, and he's like a OG in the t-shirt printing business. He always works with me, does weird placements. Like a lot of print shops would be like, I don't want to put there. That's a weird spot to put the print, you know?
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Rad Garbage loves you. I got to put this on. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep this PG-13.
Yeah.
Oh, Lena's going to be rolling her eyes.
And I should have extra mediums if you end up needing a medium. You ordered a large. Yeah.
I started ordering, like larges.
Yeah.
Confusing for kids. Like, hey, I thought I was a medium.
Yeah.
A medium can be.
It's all different depending on the manufacturer too. Looks good. I think it looks awesome. But I made it, so.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for supporting.
I gotta get Terminator ready. This is now my new ethos.
Yeah. Well, once the gym's open, you're welcome all the time.
Even to the full open box flying.
Oh yeah.
ESV.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We'll have a nice viewing area too, so you can watch this